What is going on, everyone? The head coaching search continues for the Houston Texans. They just completed their interview with defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon from the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you might remember that name. He interviewed twice with the Houston Texans last year, made it to the final interviews. At one point, we were just expecting him to be named the head coach of the Houston Texans. However, we heard about a potential struggle, right? And that was Nick Caserio allowing him the freedom of selecting his staff. We heard rumblings of Josh McCown being forced onto Jonathan Gannon, and being quite honest, no head coach is going to let that happen. And it inevitably led to Jonathan Gannon going back to Philly, being the defensive coordinator, and Lovie Smith being promoted to head coach for the Houston Texans. Well, flash forward a year later, here we are again interviewing Jonathan Gannon. This is the third time, and you look at the way he has the Philadelphia Eagles defense right now. Well, they're firing on all cylinders. 70 sacks across the board, one of the best secondaries in the NFL. C. Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, James Bradbury. This defense is elite. Super Bowl aspirations, and Jonathan Gannon is one of the reasons why. When you look at his resume, it is defense all across the board, and it is also front office experience. That is something that was appealing to Nick Caserio and the Houston Texans last year, right? And it starts in 2003 to 2005, he was a student assistant for Louisville, and he stayed there until 2006, goes to the Atlanta Falcons to be a defensive quality coach. Now, here is where he goes into the front office. At 2009, he is a college scout for the St. Louis Rams, and then from 2010 to 2011, he is the pro scout for them, gets back into coaching, defensive quality coach for the Tennessee Titans from 2012 to 2013, meets Mike Munchak, goes to the Minnesota Vikings from 2014 to 2017, assistant defensive backs coach meets Mike Zimmer, goes to Indianapolis from 2018 to 2020 as a defensive backs coach, meets Frank Wright, and currently the DC for the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I said, Super Bowl aspirations. And if you almost hired him last year, and the only issue was allowing the staff to be picked by Jonathan Gannon, then this might be a potential dark horse for head coaching for the Houston Texans. But when you look at the Philadelphia fans, and I did my research on Jonathan Gannon, I wouldn't mind him as a head coach, right? I said it all last season. I would have wanted him as well. At one point, we almost had him. The question about Jonathan Gannon is it his scheme, or is it the talent that is on the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, you look at their roster. Almost 8 Pro Bowlers on that defense. Like I said, one of the best secondaries in the NFL. 2 of the best DTs in the NFL in Cox and Hargrave. And he runs that same zone of Lovie Smith. And we know the zone that Lovie Smith runs. A good quarterback is going to pick that apart every single game. And we've seen it this year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hell, we saw Davis Mills had 300 yards on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's why this playoff run to me is key. If the Eagles is one of the reasons why this defense wins the Super Bowl, this team wins the Super Bowl, then it's a good reason because of Jonathan Gannon. And they might have to go through Tom Brady. They're going to have to go through Kirk Cousins. And it's going to be a fun playoff race, man. Are the Eagles, even the Cowboys, right? Are the Eagles going to win it? They have a great offense. They have a damn good defense. And I think if you're a Houston Texans fans, you're looking at these two and thinking, one of these guys might be my coach, right? Shane Steichen or Jonathan Gannon. But Jonathan Gannon completes his interview today. You let him know what you think. As always, go Texans. You guys have a very blessed day.